All right, we're back with another episode of Asking Rockstars Questions, and today we're joined by Kylie Miller and Leandra Earl, aka one half of the Beaches. Thanks for coming on. How are you guys doing today?
We're good.
We're tired. We're sleepy today.
Leandra did a big online workout.
I've been Zoom working out every day, so I'm like pretty buff, pretty tired.
So I did want to start things off with an easy one. You're obviously named after the Toronto suburb you're from. So tell me, as someone that's not from there, what are a couple must-see spots or places to visit if I'm ever in the Beaches?
Well, actually, Leandra is not from the Beaches. We did name the band before she joined.
Before I had no say. But I'm there all the time. What are the staples? Ed's Ice Cream?
Ed's Real Scoop.
Sorry, I don't even know the name.
Yeah. Butchered it. Ed's Real Scoop is definitely like a must-go-to spot. There's a really good Mexican restaurant called Zola, also right beside Ed's, which we like to go for margaritas. And also just like the waterfront, doing like a big walk down, and in the summer going for a swim if you're brave enough to enter the waters of Lake Ontario.
Jordan loves it.
Absolutely.
Jordan bathes in that water.
Yeah.
Well, changing gears here a little bit, you guys went on your first major cross-country tour with the Glorious Sons last year. So tell me a little bit about the energy of playing a stadium show compared to the shows that you're typically used to playing, and just what it was like hanging out with them on that tour.
That was a couple of years. When was that? It was two or three years ago.
Good job, Alex. Way to do your homework.
I meant to change that. I put in the wrong year.
Unreal.
Nice research. Nice research.
So you went on your first major cross-country tour a couple of years ago, not last year, with the Glorious Sons. Tell me a little bit about the energy of playing a stadium show compared to the shows you're typically used to playing, and what it was like hanging out with that band on that tour.
Sorry, you take it away.
It was definitely a different experience for us because, you know, before we were used to playing in a lot smaller rooms, so there was a lot more like crowd. There's a lot more like crowd participation and like interaction. But when you're playing in such a big like sized room, it's a lot harder to kind of see specific faces and like really get a feel of the room. But also it does push you as a band to like want to be bigger and want to, you know, make your performance that much like larger than life. So it was a good experience for us. I think it pushed us a lot, and also we hadn't toured Canada in the dead winter before, so that really kind of like thickened everyone's skin a little bit. We all kind of, you know, embraced that side of it. And in terms of hanging out with the Glorious Sons,
We fell in love with them.
Yeah.
Some of us.
one in particular,
King and Queen of Ontario.
Southern Ontario, Miss and Mr. Lake Ontario.
They're really cool guys. We really loved getting to know them, and now we're like really good friends and, you know, lovers. So
Yeah,
got pretty close on that tour.
it's great to like establish a good relationship with other bands who, you know, we've known for a long time, and then when you become friends with them, it just makes the experience that much more rewarding.
I try to date every band we tour with, at least one member, sometimes two.
Exactly.
Sort of like you're adding to like a scrapbook, just with every band, just at least one guy.
Yeah.
He's making a Lindsay Lohan
Or
list.
girl, it doesn't matter.
So earlier this year, the riff from Want What You Got was featured on Monday Night Football. With an average of over 10 million weekly viewers, it's one of the most viewed programs in U.S. television. It has been for the better part of 30 years. Tell me what it felt like to have that little reach that type of audience as the game went into commercial break there.
That was cool. I had to do a little double take and be like, wait, is this not a Canadian game I'm watching? It's really weird and new for us to have like an American sync or something. We weren't told about it, so we didn't know until people started to send it to us. And they didn't credit us, so I don't think we got like a lot of followers or anything from that. But it was really cool that they used it on their broadcast.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have exposure in any way that you can, and to have, like what you said, having so many viewers, definitely a good way for us to kind of push forward in a market where, you know, we don't get to go to as much.
Yeah, and I think that wraps up like kind of the follow-up question I would have had. So you guys didn't know at all. They didn't even give you the heads up, so it didn't.
No. I asked our managers. They don't have to let the artists know.
Yeah, cool.
I think with like sports television, it works differently than it does for like getting syncs in movies and stuff like that. But still cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope.
It made some people turn their heads even if they didn't know what the band was. Just like, oh, that's a really cool riff.
Yeah,
Like,
these guys.
Yeah.
let's sound
I
out
mean,
this bit.
it would have been cool if they put our name on the screen, so at least if someone liked the riff, they could be like, "Oh, who is that?" But
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
We'll just
Fair
have to play the halftime next time.
Exactly.
So since there have been so many great ones, we wanted to take some time to discuss some of the artists that you've worked with, toured with, or that have publicly backed you, or that you've just really sort of had any sort of affiliation with as a band. So Brandon, you go first.
All right, first up, the Rolling Stones. What did it mean to have a band of that stature open for you guys, and how fun was it to just share your stage with them?
That was incredible. Definitely like a very eye-opening, unbelievable experience. We found out actually like maybe 2 weeks before, so we were kind of like thrown into the whole event, and it was a whirlwind experience. Definitely changed our lives forever and our career forever.
Yeah. And thank you for saying that they opened for us.
Thank
That
you
was
for catching
like-
that.
That feels good. So it was great having them open for us. I was like, we've made it.
Rain Maida lent a helping hand on your first EP, Heights. So considering that you guys were more or less just getting started at that point, what was it like to have somebody like him present in the studio early on in your careers?
We started working with him when we were really young, and definitely was a good first kind of experience into like what it was going to be like working with professional producers and like being in the industry. You know, it was such a long time ago, so that is hard to really properly articulate how it felt at the moment. Like when we started working with him, Jordan and I were like 10 and 11 years old. So it was a long time ago, but for
Let's
the
just
most
say
part,
those days are gone.
those days are gone. But it was a good, I think, introduction into like meeting a lot of the people who have helped us really take on the path that we have had today.
I'm not going to really ask how this one felt, because I can only imagine having one of the greatest to ever do it praise the shit out of your band was probably an indescribable feeling. But I do want to know each of your top 3 Elton John songs right now.
Ooh.
I'm Still Standing.
Mine is definitely Tiny Dancer.
What's the one he wrote for Princess Diana?
Candle in the Wind.
Is it Candle in the Wind?
I think it was Candle in the Wind, yeah.
I think it's like my dad's favorite song. I really love that one.
There you
I love
go.
it so much that I didn't know the name.
Top 3.
Perfect.
Collective top 3.
His concert was unreal. He has so many hits where I'm like, wait, I totally forgot that this was even his song.
Your breakout album, Late Show, was produced by Emily Haynes and James Shaw of Metric, and that record led to you guys winning Breakout Group of the Year at the Junos the following year and getting a songwriting prize for Money. So talk a little bit about the impact they had and how it ultimately led to bringing home some pretty significant hardware.
That was also an incredible experience. I think they were one of the first people that we worked with who really didn't want to change or alter our sound in any way. Like they wanted us to really be what we wanted to be, and they really let us kind of take on our own vision, which was nice to really work in such a collaborative environment, because for a long time we hadn't been doing that. So they gave us the freedom to kind of do what we wanted and help us like work out the kinks. And ultimately, I think that it just showed the authenticity of that album is like to this day something that we're all very proud of when it comes to like the artwork, the sound, the way that we recorded it. Everything was really like packaged properly together. And it was like 5 years in the making of that record. So for it to come out in the way that it did and for it to receive the recognition that it did, it was an incredible feeling. So we owe them a lot for allowing us the space to kind of create what we wanted to.
I'd have to imagine it'd be a pretty special feeling to have someone like Emily Haynes say, you guys sound great just the way you are. I don't want to change anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Like she's an icon for sure.
And being big Metric fans, it was like very surreal to have them be such big fans of us.
I think like she probably went through similar things of like other people trying to control her at the beginning of her career. So it was important as being a mentor to like really not try and stomp on our toes too much and let us kind of do our own thing, and more not really be someone to take control, but to help guide.
So we touched on your tour across Canada earlier, and the first time that I saw you guys live was actually at Scotiabank Arena back in November of 2018, I think it was. At the time, I only knew 2 songs of yours, T-Shirt and Money, and it was just from listening to the radio at work. But heading into that show, that was when I heard Highway 6 for the first time, and I can say with confidence now it's hands down my favorite song of yours. I'm a big fan of keyboard-oriented songs. So I'd like to know a little more about that one. What went into the writing process for it, and what's the song about?
We wrote that, I don't even know. That
Long
feels like a
time ago.
2014 kind of vibe. It was so synthy when we wrote it, like really layered. And then we took that to Emily and Jimmy. I think that was Emily's favorite, where she took lead on it.
Yeah, I think that they loved the synth stuff that you had created and the vibe and how it sounded kind of like almost like a cinematic kind of a very different kind of vibe for us, but they also tried to help it like mesh a little bit more with the other songs that we had been doing. So instead of it being like completely synth oriented, we added like drums and a little bit of guitar, and you also use a lot of analog synths, which was different than
Well, it was mostly organ. I think the
organ.
whole album, everything that I had played on like synth, it became an organ track.
Yeah.
Which was cool. I like it now. I wouldn't go back to the way it was before, but
yeah.
that one felt like really bare bones when we started doing it in the studio, and we started with just like bass and the first like guitar part, and then added everything after. It's very vibey. I really like that song. And thank you for saying you like it.
Yeah.
It's my second favorite Beaches song personally, but I feel like the vast majority of like people who are seriously fans of your band would all say it's in their top 3.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's very kind. A lot of people like Highway 6,
Yeah.
which is cool from like a rock band where like all the fans really like the slowest song we have.
I think what's cool about it is it's like it's definitely the slowest song, but it's also not like a per se like it's not a ballad.
Yeah.
It's more
exactly.
It has like a spookier kind of energy to it, which is like something that people are really drawn to. And also Jordan sings like and goes off the rails at the end.
She kills it live every time.
Lyrically, I don't really know what that song is about. And I
think it was about a dream, wasn't it?
I think it was about a dream, about a man maybe.
About a man in Jordan's dream.
That's a perfect answer. I think the other thing that really kind of connects that song to especially the local crowd is just because like if you live in Ontario, you know what Highway 6 is. And that's what kind of like I heard that song live and I was like, I gotta do some research on this one. I was like, oh, I know Highway 6. See, there's a connection there. Like
yeah. So many people DM us like videos of them driving on Highway 6, listening to Highway 6. I'm like, that's so
I don't drive, so I don't know that. I don't know where I
No, they're in the Beaches DMs. I'm like, cool.
Love.
To be honest, it probably ranks somewhere between like 6th and 8th on my Beaches songs power rankings, but Snake Tongue is a very clever and extremely well-written song, and I think at this point we kind of all know what it's about. As a regular Joe on the internet, I've always found humor in creepy and weird dudes in girls' DMs, but I've never really been subject to that kind of shit, so I kind of want to give you guys the floor to tell us a couple stories to kind of capture how inappropriate it can get and maybe set the tone that it's not really okay to behave like that if you're comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird kind of thing where a lot of young women do deal with having like going through this and having people like inappropriately interact with them on the internet. It becomes like it's way more common than it should be. And being an all-female band and like now a position of power, we just felt like we had to, you know, kind of take a stand and like say something about a lot of the stuff that we go through. And eventually, you know, we obviously want to talk about it more and keep the dialogue open so that, you know, other young women don't feel like alone in that way. But also I understand why it's like sometimes fun. It's like can be funny to like poke fun at it, which is another way that we try and like kind of shrug it off our shoulders.
Like I love to post the DMs that we get.
Same.
Like yesterday, but some of them are just too
they shouldn't be given more attention.
Yeah, some of them are just downright rude and crude and just nasty and that I wouldn't want to share. Some of them are just like insanely funny, like all the feet ones. We love the feet ones. I'm not saying I want more, but
no, we're not asking for feet ones.
I don't want the feet ones.
They're
Just your chest.
If there's a niche to them, you know, it's something that adds a little bit of husbands.
Yeah, I think the one you guys posted yesterday was the official announcement that you're all happily married now, right?
Yes.
Right.
We are in a sister wives kind of community now.
Yeah. It's
I'm happy.
Mormonism without the husband.
Well, it's good that
No, we have the husband.
Oh.
That's the DM I posted. We do have the husband.
We have the husband.
Yes.
I think-
He's now blocked. But
I think it was a good move just because now like the rest of the Beaches fans are aware to just not send a DM. to
yeah,
your
we're
boys.
we're off the market. So
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Couldn't be happier for you guys.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm a little bitter about it, but whatever.
First up, Our Lady Peace or Metric?
Metric.
Lame or fascination?
Ooh. Fascination.
Fascination.
Subway or Pita Pit?
I gotta say, I have to say,
I'm gonna say Subway. I've
I
never
just-
had Pita Pit in my life.
I have to say Pita Pit because they played our song and then they gave us gift cards.
Mm.
So thank you, Pita Pit.
Matthews or Marner?
Ooh, Matthews all the way.
Who are they?
Okay, I knew you were gonna say that, and I was hoping you could just fake through it. They're,
Oh God.
they're Leafs. They're-
Oh,
they're-
Austin Matthews?
Yeah.
Matthews. There we go.
Jimmy Page or Jimi Hendrix?
I'm gonna go Hendrix.
I'm going Paige.
Death from Above or the Elwins?
Oh,
Oh, both are friends.
I know. You pick one. I'll go.
Okay,
get
DFA.
the Ellens.
They found a loophole. All right, Big Macs or anything else at McDonald's?
Big Mac.
Big Mac.
Yeah, we're Big Mac daddies. So
I like Big Mac or breakfast.
we're a big breakfast gal.
I love it.
Dirty Nil or the Monorails?
The nil.
The nil, but the Monorails have been really killing it, and I've been loving their new tracks. I'm gonna say the Monorails. You go nil.
All right, Lucifer or Animal Kingdom?
Honestly, have not watched either of those shows, but I know that our song has been on both of them,
Yeah.
which is bad.
I think Lucifer gave our song more
Yeah,
recognition.
so we're gonna
I'll
go-
Lucifer.
That also was Give It Up, so that was
Yeah.
early days.
Really
Lucifer.
nice. Thank you, Lucifer.
Thanks for giving us love early on.
Praise be.
Avril or Alanis?
Avril.
Avril.
No hesitation.
Oh no, Avril got me into music. I will love her forever and always.
Avril.
All right, and the last one, hopefully this sparks some debate. The Beatles are done with dolls.
I mean, how do you compare the two iconic bands in history?
I have a Beatles
Yeah.
tattoo, but like maybe Done With Dolls is next.
Yeah,
I
like how am
gotta
I
go
gonna put
Done
the
with
greatest
Dolls.
band ever up against the Beatles?
I gotta go DWD. Yeah,
Oh,
I pull a
that's
lot
so
of
sweet.
inspiration from DWD. So
I guess I'll go DWD too, honestly. I don't know. I mean,
sorry, Sir Paul.
sorry, Sir Paul. Sir Ringo.
The one thing I've always admired about your band is the way you appreciate and interact with your fans. Before we wrap up, I just want to see if there were any significant fan interactions from over the years that stood out, whether it was an artwork or a song cover or something like that.
Oh, easy breezy. Our gal Lindsay, can you see that big painting that she painted for us?
I honest to
that's-
God, when you guys first connected to the call, I thought that was an actual portrait of you guys. I didn't think it was
Yeah,
a
that's sick.
Can I
Yeah.
swap the camera and see what's up here?
Yeah.
We need to give you a little tour. There could be a quick studio tour with some of our favorite fan things. Actually, I don't know where half of them are, but this one's our fave.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
that is
Getting
really cool.
close to each other.
So she brought this. Where'd she bring it, Lita?
Back to the farm
Yeah.
near Kingston. She brought it.
We put it up on stage behind us when we played, and that was like such a cool thing for her to do.
Yeah, we love her. That might be the only real fan. These ones are from venues.
No, I mean we
Um,
have one over there, but I don't.
That really is cool.
How do I flip it back?
That is incredibly well done. Wow.
Yeah,
It's
sick.
nuts.
That's my fave. There have been a lot of fans who've sent.
you
Sorry,
guys go?
someone just called me. I don't know who it was. I think that like obviously meeting like young girls at our shows who like this is their first time listening to like rock music and having them like want to join bands and watching like band covers on the internet, that's always like feels really good to be what Avril was to us, to
Mhm.
someone else, get more women involved and the music industry. Definitely that's something that feels really good and is very exciting for us to see.
I wish I now included her in the. She's like my fave fan of all time.
Leandra Hatz is amazing.
Yeah.
So she said, if you wanted to add a question of mine, it would be, what tips do her and Kylie have about learning how to play the guitar as someone who's completely clueless? She just bought an electric guitar recently and wonders if she should start learning on acoustic or if that doesn't really matter.
I don't really think it matters. I think like you have to be patient with yourself, but you also have to dedicate time to practicing, because like there really is no way of kind of going from 0 to 100 without like practicing and just getting a feel for it. Like even if you don't really know exactly like how to do chords, how to do that stuff, just even holding the guitar and like practicing strumming, getting the feel in your fingers, you become a lot more equipped and like ready to learn different things. That's like probably my one suggestion for like someone just
I
starting
remember
out.
that before I really started learning, I rented a guitar for like a week and didn't know anything about it and was literally just strumming and playing around with whatever felt or sounded right, like making up chords. And it was so fun. It made me just like really appreciate the instrument. And then when I started actually learning, it felt a bit easier because you know what it feels like.
Yeah. It's something that you have to kind of wrap your head around, because it's like a bit of an uncomfortable sensation at first, but then once you get used to it, it becomes like a lot easier to approach learning.
Then you get those calluses.
Yeah.
So
Calluses
hard.
is the most important part. Well, you guys have been incredible today. We really appreciate you coming on the show. But lastly, tell us if you've got anything coming up or if there's anything you guys wanted to take some time to plug or shout out before we go.
I mean, we are in the process of figuring a couple things out, but we definitely hope to have some new content out within the year and hopefully some fun things to announce. So just stay tuned. Keep an eye on our IG page and Twitter feed and all that stuff.
And TikTok.
And
you know, that's a
TikTok.
new thing that
Yeah.
we're trying to.
But, you know, there will be more to report very soon.
Yeah.
We're just in the process of figuring that out, but everyone should stay tuned.